Buckle up for this travel vlog because it's actually fucking insane. Let's go home from my study abroad. Woke up at like 8, got dressed, and then did my morning skincare and some makeup. And I know people are gonna come for me for doing my makeup to go to the airport, but I am a true believer in the look good, feel good philosophy, and I was already insanely anxious about my flight change, so I was not gonna take any chances. And I packed everything back up and went on a quick walk to get some breakfast to say goodbye to Sorrento. I was actually so sad, but I got a cappuccino and a Sfogliatelle to go, and then it was time to leave. Oh my god. Did get a shuttle to the airport in Naples, which is about a 2-hour drive, but it literally went by so fast. I wanted the ride to last forever because I literally did not want to go home. And everything just went downhill from here. I showed up to the airport and literally no one is at the Air France check-in counter, and I asked someone and they said no one was coming for another hour, so I had to wait to check in until someone got there. God bless Billy, because I was actually about to have a panic attack, but even though he was on a completely different flight than me and boarded an hour earlier than me, he waited with me until I got online to check in so I didn't have to be alone with my thoughts. I love you, Billy. Thank you. Finally, I go to check in and I give her my passport and she says, I don't have you in my system. You don't have a ticket for this flight. You have to call Delta and figure it out. I can't help you. Turns out Delta put in my information and Air France just never booked me a ticket, so fuck you, Air France. Started crying in the middle of the airport, called Delta. I was on hold with Air France for actually an hour until I finally got a ticket number, and I literally had to write it on my hand so I could give it to the woman checking me in. Sprinted to security. I was sweating so bad, but we made it through, and I go to sit down, and it turns out Billy's flight got canceled. And this is Caitlin. She was on his flight too, and they both ended up getting standby tickets on my flight. We went to my gate, and they both got on the plane. I was so happy for them, like, yay. We had to take this shuttle, and it drove us to the plane, which was cool, but I chose the absolute worst spot on the shuttle to sit because I literally got the back of the line when boarding, and I had to stand outside in the freezing cold waiting for people to board until I finally boarded and calmed down for a bit, until I realized that I accidentally bought sparkling water, but whatever. We took off, and it was a pretty short flight. It was only like 2 hours. We flew over some mountains, and I pretty much just watched Glee the whole time, and then we were landing. I saw the Eiffel Tower, which was so cool. Like, look how pretty she is. Then when we landed, I saw my connecting flight was delayed, which was actually amazing because my gate was in the terminal, the complete opposite side of the airport from the one I landed in, and I genuinely don't think I would have made the flight if it weren't delayed. We took another shuttle to the other terminal and then walked to our new gate until I find out our flight was delayed a literal another 2 hours, which was so annoying because at this point I was so exhausted. I just wanted to be home. But I got some sushi, and I know I'm gonna get slandered for eating airport sushi, but coming from someone who eats sushi once a week, going a month without it was actually torturous, and even though it wasn't good sushi, I still devoured that shit. And we finally boarded, and Billy finessed the flight attendants because his first flight was canceled, so we got a whole row to himself, so me, Billy, and Caitlin were able to sit next to each other. Also, I know I talked a lot of shit about Air France, but this is genuinely the best airplane food I've ever had in my entire life. If I got this in a restaurant, I wouldn't be mad about it. And Billy and I got some free wine. I'm a white girl, he's a red, but here's me pretending to be a sommelier with my wine in my styrofoam cup. Then I tried to sleep, but I literally cannot sleep on planes, so I pretty much just watched Glee for the whole flight pretty much. And our flight was an hour longer than it was supposed to be because for some reason the pilot decided to fly in an arch instead of a straight line. But after 9 hours, we finally landed. This is what I look like.